just get going. I'll just stay in my seat and they just bring them out one after another.
Really? How many do you do?
Well, we start at 9, we'll go to 3, and we'll do 4 an hour. We have a break for lunch.
4 an hour?
Yeah.
Wow.
9, 9:20, 9:40, 10.
Wow.
He actually was the first one at 9, but you got here first, so so he has to wait.
Huh?
And welcome back to Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Steve Swat. My guest this segment is John Lambeth, who is president of an organization called Civitas. Thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
Now, your company works with cities or parts of cities, really, to try to, I guess, circumvent some of the lack of public funds that are out there for various improvements. Is that right?
We do. We set up all kinds of special improvement districts, and one of the kinds of districts we do are called PBIDs, Property and Business Improvement Districts, and essentially it's owners getting together to raise money to do extra services. So they do security and maintenance and marketing, all things to benefit the property owners and business owners.
And so these are self-assessments.
They are.
So the property owners in one area say, okay, we need to beef up security, so let's chip in some dollars.
Exactly, and they're all different. It's all based on what the owners decide to do. So we come in, get the owners together, start a dialogue with them about their priorities, and then put together a plan that essentially implements what they want to get done and come along with the financing tool, essentially, to raise the money to pay for those services.
Is this a majority rule type of thing? I mean, do they have to form the district or this group first, and then they take a self-assessment vote, and if the vote turns out to be 80% in favor, the other 20 in this area have to go along with it?
Yeah, basically that's right. It's actually pretty difficult to form. It takes a majority essentially of the total at the outset to sign petitions to start the process. Then there's a balloting process of the owners, and the majority have to say yes to that. And finally, the city council or county board of supervisors has to say yes. And if you make it through all 3 steps, then you can put a district in place for up to 5 years. If you don't make it on any one of those, then a district doesn't happen.
I know, I was just reading that where Los Angeles has just formed a tourism improvement district, and they've self-assessed $11.5 million for this. So how would that money be spent, do you think?
That's a great question. We put that district together, and that raises, as you said, $11.5 million. It's, in that case, it's tourism, so it's just hotels paying that, and they're going to use it to essentially market the city of Los Angeles. They're going to be out there sort of promoting overnight stays for the city, essentially trying to generate a return for those hotels. And that's one now, Steve, of 61 of those kinds of districts in California. And we're seeing that take off now across the United States and, in fact, in other countries as well.
And that's because so many municipal budgets are tight and they can't fund these type of efforts.
That's exactly right. The hotels aren't anxious to sort of add costs on, but they are interested in having a stable funding source to see that promotion effort done and done well. And so time and time again, they've turned to this mechanism and said, let's get together, let's raise some money from amongst ourselves, and let's really create a stable funding source.
Give us another example or two of an improvement district that you've worked with.
Well, the first one was the Downtown Sacramento Partnership almost 20 years ago. Okay. We discovered California didn't have a state law to let us set up these kinds of districts. So I was a primary drafter of that state law, and the first one we created was the Downtown Sacramento Partnership. And it, like so many downtown organizations, is focused primarily on clean and safe activities. Mm-hmm. So it has guides, it has maintenance workers, it does those concerts in the park and the ice rink, all the things to try to make downtown an attractive, fun, safe place to come. So it's been a great success, and that's led to several more in the region. We now have 11 in the greater Sacramento area of those kinds of districts, all focused on slightly different things.
And all privately funded.
All private. Well, privately funded, yes, in that the owners step up and say yes to it. It is a public-private partnership because the city is also involved. Because once, as you said, once you put it in place, it's mandatory on everyone. It's not a voluntary program once they go through the process.
At the very beginning, did you find any difficulty in getting some of these businesses to self-assess?
Sure, and I think even now, there's a lot of businesses that are struggling, but when they learn how this works, they're usually pretty receptive because they're saying, first of all, it's something that we control, we set the priorities. Second, it's very accountable. The longest you can put these in place for at the outset is 5 years. At the end of 5 years, they go away. So the owners know that if they're not working, they don't have to organize to get rid of them. They will go away automatically. They have to be asked again to continue it. So they like that. The other thing these districts do is leverage their money very well.
All right. Well, John Lambeth of Civitas, thanks for coming by, talking about this interesting development over the last few years. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Steve.
And thanks to our viewers for watching Comcast Newsmakers. We'll see you next time.